Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you is gonna mess with your head. Number 10. The Silent Watchers. It's 1961, and physicist Frank Drake just dropped an equation that should have changed everything. He calculated how many alien civilizations might be out there trying to talk to us. The numbers? They basically screamed that we shouldn't be alone. Fast forward to today, and after decades of pointing our best tech at the stars, we've heard absolutely nothing. Crickets. This deafening silence has a name, the Fermi Paradox, and it's kept scientists up at night for generations. But here's where it gets creepy. What if the silence isn't because they don't exist? What if it's because they're watching us right now? Back in 1973, radio astronomer John Ball threw out this mind-bending idea called the zoo hypothesis. Picture this: advanced alien civilizations totally know we're here. They've known for ages, but they're deliberately ghosting us, like cosmic scientists studying lab rats. They're watching our every move with zero intention of saying hello. We're not their equals, we're their science project. We're bugs under a microscope, and they're taking notes. Now, before you write this off as sci-fi nonsense, let me hit you with some evidence that'll make your skin crawl. Remember the wow signal from 1977? That insanely powerful 72-second transmission that perfectly matched what we'd expect from alien tech? It came once and never again. What if it wasn't a hello, but more like a status update? Hey, the primates on that blue planet just figured out radio, sending data back to headquarters. Then there's the Black Knight satellite, this weird object detected in orbit before we even had the tech to put it there. Could it be an observation post that's been lurking up there, watching us evolve from cavemen to TikTokers? Here's what really gets under my skin about the silent watcher scenario. If they're watching, they've seen everything, every single thing, every war we've waged, every genocide we've committed, every act of breathtaking cruelty and rare kindness. They've documented our entire bloody history and consciously decided not to step in. We're celebrating putting a dude on the moon while they're kicking back with tech that would make our best stuff look like Stone Age garbage. We're shooting messages into space like desperate kids in a bottle, begging for a response, while they've been screening our calls the whole time. But the scariest part? It's not the watching itself. It's what their silence says about us. Think about it. You don't try to have a conversation with zoo animals. Why? Because the intelligence gap is too massive. If these advanced aliens are just silently observing us, it means they've already made their assessment. We're not ready, we're not worthy, or worse, we're just not interesting enough for actual dialogue. We're an experiment that's still running, and they haven't gotten enough data yet to wrap it up. The real question isn't whether they're watching anymore. It's what happens when they decide the experiment is over. Number 9. The resource harvesters. Back in 2004, astronomers spotted something absolutely bizarre. A star designated KIC 8462852 dimmed by a whopping 22%. Now, if you don't know astronomy, that might not sound like much, but trust me, that's insane. No planet could cause that kind of dimming. One theory that went viral, a Dyson sphere, a massive structure built around the star to harvest its energy. While scientists leaned toward natural explanations, the idea exposed something terrifying about advanced civilizations. They need resources on a scale we literally can't comprehend. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to talk about. Any civilization that's figured out how to travel between stars has already crushed the resource problem on their home planet. They're not cruising across the galaxy looking for gold or oil or whatever else we think is valuable. They're after materials we probably don't even recognize as having worth. Maybe they're sucking up hydrogen from gas giants. Maybe they're strip mining asteroid belts for rare isotopes. Maybe they're collecting organic compounds from planets with life. Earth isn't special in this calculation. We're just inventory on a spreadsheet.
What makes this scenario absolutely bone-chilling is the complete indifference. Resource extraction doesn't require evil intentions, it just requires efficiency. When a construction company bulldozes a forest, the workers don't hate the ant colonies they're destroying. They don't even think about them. Those ants have complex societies, chemical communication systems, sophisticated agriculture. None of it matters to the guy operating the bulldozer. To a civilization harvesting resources on planetary scales, we're those ants. Now, let me introduce you to your nightmares, von Neumann probes. These are theoretical self-replicating machines that could spread across the entire galaxy. A single probe reaches our solar system, builds copies of itself using whatever materials are lying around, and those copies head off to do the same thing elsewhere. No consciousness required, no moral considerations, just cold, algorithmic resource acquisition running on autopilot. We might not even meet actual aliens, just their automated mining equipment, processing our entire planet according to programming written 10,000 years ago by creatures that are probably dead now. The most chilling part is this scenario is logically inevitable. Any advanced civilization eventually faces resource constraints. The Milky Way has roughly 400 billion stars, and from an efficiency standpoint, automated extraction beats trying to negotiate with primitive species every single time. Our protests would mean as much as an anthill's pheromone trails to a construction crew. Absolutely nothing. We're not enemies in this scenario, we're just in the way of stuff they need. And honestly, they probably won't even notice when we're gone. Number 8. The philosophical exterminators. In 1868, philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer dropped this dark idea: non-existence is actually better than existence because it prevents all suffering. Most people dismissed him as one seriously depressed dude, but here's a thought that'll keep you up tonight. What if an alien civilization came to the same conclusion and had the technology to actually do something about it? Welcome to the philosophical exterminator scenario, brought to you by a disturbing branch of ethics called negative utilitarianism. The core idea, eliminating suffering, matters more than creating happiness. And when you start running the numbers, it gets coldly logical real fast. Every conscious being experiences pain, loss, fear, and death. Those are guaranteed. But pleasure, joy, those are temporary and uncertain. From a purely mathematical standpoint, if you eliminate consciousness entirely, you eliminate suffering with 100% certainty. Now, imagine an advanced alien civilization that fully bought into this philosophy. They wouldn't show up as conquerors. In their minds, they're arriving as saviors. Their technology could wipe out all sentient life painlessly, maybe even instantaneously. From where they're standing, they're performing the universe's greatest act of mercy. Every civilization they encounter gets the same gift: liberation from the burden of existing. They've probably already exterminated billions of species, and each time they genuinely believed they were preventing eons of future suffering. Here's what makes this scenario uniquely disturbing. We couldn't argue against them using their own logic. They'd point to our wars, our diseases, our guaranteed deaths. They'd crunch the numbers on the total suffering humanity will experience over our species' remaining existence. Trillions of individual moments of pain, grief, and absolute despair. Then they'd look at us with what they'd call compassion and offer us peace. Permanent, absolute peace. The scary part? The tech to pull this off already has theoretical foundations. Ever heard of vacuum decay? Our entire universe might exist in what's called a false vacuum state. If triggered the right way, it could collapse to a lower energy state, and that collapse would spread at the speed of light, instantly converting all matter to a more stable configuration. No warning, no suffering, just an instantaneous flip from existence to non-existence. The most terrifying aspect of the philosophical exterminators is their sincerity. They genuinely, truly believe that extinction is kindness. When they arrive, they won't be angry or cruel. They'll be gentle, understanding, maybe even loving. They'll explain their reasoning with the patience of a doctor euthanizing a suffering patient. And when we beg for our lives, screaming that we want to live, they'll see it as the confused desperation of beings not yet wise enough to accept the gift of oblivion. They'll end us with compassion, and somehow that's so much worse than hate.